Good morning on this first Friday in November, and it's a beautiful morning. A little bit chillier, which is great, but it's the beautiful sunshine coming through, and the autumn leaves are just stunning.
There's a
and I think we're going to be
carpet around us this morning.
I think also we're going to be competing with the birds because they're very singy this morning, aren't
Very
they?
good voice this morning, including this little bush here, which you can't see, where there's lots of long-tailed tits, I think, isn't
Yes,
it, that
yeah.
keep coming and landing alongside us.
Singing.
If you're reading with us through the readings of the Psalms each morning, then this morning we're on Psalm 105, and this is a psalm that retells part of the story of the history of God's people Israel from the time of Abraham up until the moment that they enter the promised land. And what it seeks to recall is the struggles and the disappointments and the setbacks, and how God's people learned about the Lord's faithfulness through it all, even when they messed up and failed, that God was with them and God was working his purpose out even when they couldn't make sense of the things that were happening.
And we're going to be reading the first opening 7 verses, though it's worth reading the whole of the psalm, although it's a little bit longer. And you get a real sense of God's great faithfulness, that he will never fail to keep his promises to us.
Give praise to the Lord, proclaim his name, make known among the nations what he has done. Sing to him, sing praise to him, tell of all his wonderful acts, glory in his holy name. Let the hearts of those who seek the Lord rejoice. Look to the Lord and his strength, seek his face always. Remember the wonders he has done, his miracles and the judgments he pronounced. You, his servants, the descendants of Abraham, his chosen ones, the children of Jacob. He is the Lord our God. His judgments are in all the earth.
And I was particularly drawn to the importance of remembering what God has done for us, which is commented a number of times in this psalm, which is the theme of the psalm, which keeps returning. And it starts in verse 5 when it says, "Remember the wonders he has done." And we know how forgetful we can be. I certainly am, which tends to make us complacent when things seem to be going well, and very fearful and fed up when life gets hard. So the psalm shows us the invaluable and importance of remembering the wonders God has done, which of course above all is Jesus. And this task of remembering is not just for our sake, but so that we can share and announce it more boldly, as an invitation for others to put their hope in God, which is why the psalm opens with the call to make known among the nations what he has done.
And alongside that, I was drawn to verse 4. Look to the Lord and his strength, seek his face always. And when we were reading that yesterday, it brought to mind for me a moment when one of our sons, who I think was about 8 or 9 at the time, was competing in the school sports day in a race, quite a long distance race, and possibly longer than he had anticipated. And we remember seeing him really flagging and falling back behind the other runners. But as he turned the corner on the final lap, and he was able to see the parents were there on the trackside, and we noticed as he was kind of head down, he was kind of looking, searching to see if he could find our faces, and then suddenly he saw our faces, and his face lit up, and he just kept running. He kept going, even though it'd been a real struggle, and he certainly hadn't finished first, or even in the first 3. But he pressed on to the finish line, but there being a turning point, which we noticed, searching and finding our faces. And there's something about that in this verse that just seems particularly encouraging, that as we seek the Lord's face, he's pleased to reveal himself to us. And for us to know that he delights in us, and that when we feel we might sometimes be flagging and maybe even feel like giving up, that his face, the revelation of his love and his goodness towards us, above all in Jesus Christ, that strengthens us right at the center of who we are, and helps us to keep on going. So we thought that would be a really good thing to pray today for anyone who feels like they're flagging, maybe even feels that things are hard and they feel like giving up. Well, here's a great verse for you as well this morning.
Let's pray. Dear Lord, help us remember all the wonders you've done for us, that you're faithful to your promises and will never leave us or forsake us. Bless those today who feel like giving up. Help them to seek your face, to know how you delight in them and love them, and find in you the courage and strength to keep going. Amen.
Amen. Thank you for joining us again on this crisp November morning. Don't forget, those of you who are part of the Diocesan family, next Thursday is the second of our Diocesan Days of Prayer. And there are going to be various prayer meetings, gatherings around the diocese, but we'll be here in the evening, 5:30 for evensong, 7:45 for a more informal time of worship and prayer, and in between there is supper, and you're welcome to sign up through the Diocesan website if you'd like to come and join us for a simple supper that evening at 6:30. But whatever you're doing this weekend, may you know God's blessing.